Jessica Rawson, professor of Chinese art and archaeology at the University of Oxford, is the 2022 Tong Prize laureate in sinology. Despite struggling with alphabetic languages as a child, her natural affinity for images led her to consider how objects convey meaning and have their own language.
Objects are telling you what they're for. First of all, they're just telling you the function. But if you look a little harder and think a little more about it, you see, particularly at high table, the knives and forks are in silver. In our lives, silver matters, whereas in your lives in China, it will matter less because you use chopsticks. And so if I start to compare China and the West, I can see they're two different languages.
While sinologists have tended to focus on culture, history, philosophy, and literature, Professor Rawson has shed new light on the areas of art history, material culture, and the study of excavated artifacts. For her, objects can tell stories without saying a word. But to decipher the language of objects, we need to observe and compare them.
So, yes, you can certainly look at single objects, and that's what art historians do most of all, but I have moved away from the single object, partly because I think you can overemphasize one bronze, when actually the bronzes were all used in a ceremonial banquet for the ancestors.
By examining nuanced changes in sets of bronzes, she developed a theory illustrating the ritual revolution in the Western Zhou era. She discovered that the quantity, shapes, and decorations of these wares contained important cultural insights. From here, she built a broad view of East-West interactions. Her recent research delves into how horse trading in ancient China is related to the origins of the Silk Road.
Horses and herded animals with hooves cannot survive, cannot flourish in the south. The Chinese have to use the Mongolians to get horses, but the other side of it is, it's the source of the Silk Route. Because they're bartering something for the horses, this Silk Road period, I became very interested in it because I realized that this was part of China's international relations, really. How China developed its borders and its contacts with other people.
Professor Rawson once served as the keeper of the British Museum's Department of Oriental Antiquities. In 1994, she became the first female warden of Oxford's Merton College. Experiences at the British Museum helped her bring a fresh perspective to the historic college and establish the University of Oxford China Center. Through her theoretical and practical work, Professor Rawson has deepened our understanding of Chinese civilization.